Welcome to One Bite at a Time, a podcast where I, Chef Wu,
and I, Chef V,
discuss the hospitality and culinary sector from both our professional and personal experiences.
and touch on all the things that make us laugh, cry, smile, shout, and celebrate, all whilst trying to figure out how to set the standard
One bite at a time. Welcome to another episode. I'm excited about this episode because so this season, we have used this season to really highlight some avenues or varying avenues you can go down in this sector, so to speak. Restaurants have constantly been the craze, but as of recent, you've seen this. Is it an insurgence or resurgence? It wouldn't be a resurgence. This increase in chef-led, professionally led spaces, and outside of them just being chef-led, it's also people then focusing on very specific niches, and that has been really, really interesting to see.
And one of those we have in the house today.
Yes.
We have the Chef Benedict.
Hello, everyone.
He is one of the chef pioneers of Nigeria, one of the first to come in. And what do we know about Ben? Ben does not allow anyone to define who he is. That's what I would say. He's a very amazing friend of mine, a big brother, and I think it's amazing to see how you've come in and just created this unique blend of your heritage, which is both Nigerian and Italian. Ben spent his formative years in Florence, so he's basically a melting pot of the two cultures, and seeing how you've come here and shown that I'm not one or the other, I'm not what you think I am, this is me, this is Ben.
Thank you.
So, Ben, welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. It's been a long time coming.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, Chef Benedict here. I'm an Italian trained chef. How do you define what we do? That's a complicated one. We've been labeled as fusion a lot, which I've tried to explain to people is not. Our culinary direction is Italian, and we celebrate local ingredients. That's the best way to put it. Or that's the concise way to put it. What does that mean? So the concept is Italy or Italian food does not exist, right? Because it's highly regional. So what you do have is that you have certain Italian culinary rules. And so what have we done? It's like if Lagos was part of Italy and those culinary rules were within Lagos or Nigeria, let's say, how would an Italian chef approach this? So what seasonal ingredients would you use? What sort of, so like olive oil is king, Parmesan is king, things like that. But the Italians have a saying called tutto il mondo è paese, the whole world is a town. And so the whole idea is to just try and see, okay, what can I best use the Nigerian tomatoes that we have to do? What can I best use our shrimp to do? So that's the whole thing, just try and figure out, rather than say, oh, this ingredient does not work because I want to do this. No, what is this ingredient best suitable for? So like it's trying to build a relationship with the produce that we have and really respect what we have. So that's what made me fall in love with Nigerian produce, because I've had to like look at it from what makes it special rather than what makes it difficult.
That was so refreshing.
That was
hear.
so nice.
Really nice.
So nice.
So Ben.
I'm scared.
I think it's interesting to see that with the evolution of the Nigerian food scene and the restaurant scene, Italian food or Italian cuisine has been one of those segments that people have used to either infuse into their menus or find a way to Nigerianize.
Yes.
Italian food is one of those things you just see on menus, whether it's seafood pasta, pizzas, the likes of that.
Yes. Oh God, I'm just like worried.
I just have to know your take on it.
How you feel about
spicy pasta.
Well, the truth is, it's. How do I put it? I was having this conversation with my aunt this weekend, right? And what I explained to her is that it's difficult to describe color to the blind, right? Let me put it like that. Unfortunately, like all cuisines, in my opinion, there is a required amount of time that you need to interact with what it is that you plan on doing. And I think that's something that's heavily lacking in Lagos. Especially, Italian cuisine is deceptive in its simplicity. There's a lot of, and that's why I'm saying that the main thing with Italians, I think people don't understand that, is that there's an actual relationship with the produce you're using. So it's a thing where, like, okay, if you're trying to do something, like there's a whole concept of mantecazione, which is like where you try and figure out how to make the pasta bind with the sauce. That's not cream. That is
the emotion.
It's an emotion.
Yeah.
It's a marriage of pasta water, the starch in pasta water, the fats that you use, and the sauce. That's what wraps around the pasta. So when you make a carbonara, it's an emotion. It's not cream.
Yeah.
Now, the truth is, you can't fault people that don't know and try to replicate, but I think it is actually important to also respect other people's cultures, and that's what I'm trying to do by trying to do things in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think, because Nigerians don't really like it when they watch Jamie Oliver make jollof rice and things like that, so I think there has to be a lot more research. Also, a lot more people need to travel, but I come from a place of privilege, so it's not right for me to say people need to travel, but I think at least try and train under people that have traveled and try and look more into what the cuisine is about, read more, because the internet has readily available information. So I think if you don't try and execute things in a certain way, you're being lazy.
Yeah.
Right now, like I think that's there's no real excuse. So like when they like a seafood pasta, now the decision, I think, as every chef or every restaurant that you're opening, right, there's a decision that you want to make. Do I want to do things the way it's meant to be, or do I want to sell? And one thing that I can say is whatever decision you decide to take, stay true to it. Don't tell me that you want to do things in a certain way and not. Or don't tell me that you want to sell and try and sell it to me that you're trying to do it right. Which is something that you get in Lagos, because so many times you get there and there's the whole mom and pop feel, and there's like spicy spark. No. Like,
it's the fact he said spag and not spaghetti.
No, but I mean, I'm not trying to be shady or anything, but it's a thing for like, but it's a thing where like, for someone that works hard, because I believe that I work hard, even if I'm not working hard, my team works hard. We have tried our best to provide the best possible level of Italian food to people here. And the way we did it is that we accepted that there's certain things you just cannot do. And what we try to do, we try to figure out what we can do. So it's a thing where like we're not going to do quartato. So imagine you ask me for ravioli and I go and put smoked something inside and give you like a tomato sauce with pecorino that's not pecorino. Why? Like, you know, at that point it's like, okay, you know what? I don't have goldfish, but I do have wonderful obokun. Or I don't have this, but I have one, like I don't have, you know, like scored funnel, but I have a barracuda instead that I can use. Let me do that. I can make an aglio olio. I don't have the Italian chilies, but I go to Ekpe and I have wonderful dry chilies, so I can make something similar to that. So the thing is that, like, are you actually trying to do it right, or are you being mentally lazy? And also another thing is admitting where your shortcomings are. Like, I don't know all of this. And so the way I challenge them is like, okay, what's my favorite color? I don't know. And I'm like, I know. The same way you don't know how to cook this pasta. So why are you trying to do something that it's clear you don't know how to do? It's not just boil it, and it's complete disrespect to an entire culture. It's disrespect to, it's like I would never, people ask me, why don't you do Nigerian food? Because I don't know it well enough to be able to execute. And I think it's disrespectful to the people that have been doing it for like, who that's their living, you know, their livelihood. It's not right, it's not fair that because of my platform, I come and I make one nonsense jollof rice and everybody's buying my jollof rice, while the woman that knows how to make it wonderful is watching me put crayfish where I'm not supposed to. Or like go and put nonsense oil or something like that. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Let me just put it that way.
Interesting.
One way I love to piss Ben off when I eat this food. I'll just be like, it's missing pepper.
Oh my
do you
God.
have Maggi?
Oh my God. Oh my
Do you have
God.
Maggi? Is crazy.
But it's just light jest, but it's great because we've always had conversations, but coming on this platform to just hear you just express and see that, you know, there is a thing as fusion, which you know, people do. You can Nigerianize something and fuse it with the culture. That's not what you do. What I'm hearing is you are authentically Italian.
Yes.
And you can be authentically Italian while still using Nigerian produce.
Fusion is extremely difficult, and I think people do not understand how difficult fusion is, right? Because it's a deep understanding of two cultures and understanding where you can merge them, right? Where one starts and where one finishes.
God bless you.
So it's such a...
I just want to say it's very important that people listen to this because a lot of people will say, I'm an Afrofusion chef. And no, you're not.
And you're not.
So please listen to this. There's something he said there. You're gonna reverse a bit. Reverse. You're gonna go back just
Rewind.
a tad. Rewind.
Yes.
Repeat that last part you just said.
So it's a deep understanding of both cultures that you want to blend, where you understand where one starts, one finishes, and where you can interact them, you know.
Thank God bless you.
Now, the deep understanding, and I say this even, this is my personal experience, I'm very lucky that I grew up in an Italian family that were foodies. So my food is very highly regional, and for you to be even a Nigerian chef, you need to start understanding regional cuisine. For you to say that you deeply understand your cuisine, you need to understand it from a regional standpoint, right? What are the different qualities of palm oil? What are the different qualities of fish? Because I went to Ekpe like about a month ago, and the thing I realized is that the reason why the obokun that I was buying in Makoko was different from in Ekpe is that Ekpe has 3 different species, or at least that I saw. And they had nothing to do with the one in Makoko. The River Niger has another different obokun that has yellow meat. So here I am, in just 3 different species, I've seen 4 different species of fish, of the same fish. Now, culinarily, that changes everything. Flavor profile, fat content, all these things are different. And I'm like, for me, I think it is a thing where we need to stop trying to make menus about what sounds good on Instagram and truly like revisit our passion, right?
Come on, this is not what I was expecting from this episode, but I'm very happy.
No, but I'm not saying it to insult anybody.
No, you're not, but it's also a thing where
extremely intentional with your words and very educational,
and that is a big thing.
Because I think like a lot of things, like yes, of course, it's exciting to be famous. Everybody wants to know, you know, and everybody wants to blow. But I've opened this small osteria in Ikoyi, and people are like, "Oh, like it done." I'm like, "No, it's 10 years. It's been 10 years. I've been in Lagos for 10 years, and for the past 10 years, it's been a review of everything that we do. It's been a review of everything that we look at. I mean, this week we're going out and doing new tastings, trying out new things." You see, the thing is, your journey as a chef, you first start off as a foodie. It's not, that's the thing, you start off loving food. Then you go in, because why else would you stay in the kitchen for 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours? There's a love of food. And with that love, there has to be also respect towards food, right? Respect towards what can happen. I mean, the truth is that the arrogance of thinking that you're the reason why everything tastes good is what I find really funny. Because if I give you bamboo and say make mushroom, you won't be able to. So that just shows you that the ingredients are actually king. You know, that's one.
Wow.
2, the second thing is, I think there has to be a complete re-education process in terms of how we approach what we're doing. Because when they say, the tools of your trade as a chef, people think knives, pans, pots. No, your ingredients are the tools of your trade.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing I think people just don't understand.
So Ben, just take the cards.
This is your podcast now. Because we'll be doing this wrong.
No, I'm glad I can speak, you know, but because I say this to my staff, the ingredients are the tools of your trade. Nothing else. Like as a chef, my job is just to, like I see a tomato, how best can this express itself? Right? I'm a guide. That's what I am. I'm not the master of anything. If the tomato is not good, I cannot make something good. What I can do is try and hide as much as possible. But if I'm to offer an experience, I have to be a lot more intentional about my building blocks, right? It's like anything of quality requires you starting from the base.
Yeah.
So if you use bad cement, the quality of your building is not going to be the same. So it's just that mindset needs to be pushed into food as well.
Everything you said has just really helped me understand your journey in Nigeria, because the way this conversation was going was looking at, you know, how the importance of niching down has become a necessity in Nigeria, and really understanding what it is that you're saying you're providing. And you can look at it from an entrepreneurial perspective. Let's say someone who isn't a chef, we understand as an entrepreneur it makes sense to niche because it's just, you can specialize, you can do this and that. It makes sense for a costing or menu point of view. As a chef, it just seems like the natural journey, because if you really truly care about your craft, you're naturally going to niche, because you want to specialize in your story, your heritage, what has brought you into food, what is it that excites you in the food industry. You've had this upbringing, you've had this exposure to something different and unique that you want to bring here in Nigeria. But here you are in a country where you have to get to know these ingredients that you have. It takes time to research. It hasn't been easy.
We made a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. We made a lot of mistakes. Disasters have happened. But it's part of the learning process.
You could have opened somewhere 6-7 years ago and just said, you deliberately said 10 years. Guys, listen, like we've spent this season, 10 years. It's not a sprint. You spent 10 years understanding what is on offer that can still allow him to tell his story authentically while showcasing how beautiful Nigerian ingredients and vast and versatile and all that stuff is, while still honing in on the craft that he's been sent here on earth to do. And I think that's amazing.
That is amazing. Very amazing.
Thank you.
You know, when I talk about food and like what I do, I'm always like, I like to think of myself as like, my cooking style is ingredient led, because it's always I work my way back from an ingredient. I take an ingredient, I work back. But hearing the way you've described interacting with ingredients has been very insightful, to say the least. And I guess the question here for me is, how does that then, because you've said you've made mistakes, so then how do menus kind of come to life? Like, what is the process?
The process for a good... First things first, I know this is weird, but the person I really look at for this sort of guidance is Marco Pierre White.
Okay.
It's a weird one, right? In terms of like what people, like their chef idols and people that you look at for advice. Marco Pierre, he's very old school, his mindset, but I think it's a very grounded look, and it's a no thrills look. It's just about the focus on what it is that you're trying to provide the client. So first things first, I provide what I would love to eat, you know? So there's nothing on my menu that I don't like. And I think that when you approach it that way, like first things like what you love to eat, what you love to cook, and what you're interested in, there is a joy when you're doing it, and also you don't have to rely on it. Like, it becomes easier trying to keep a standard. Like, you know, there's how many tastings I did, like 9 months of tastings before I even like decided to do my first supper club in the space, because I was just like, the pasta is not where I wanted, the pizza is not where I want. It was not about the clients. I think that's the main thing. I'm doing this, like, I look at it like, if I'm to sit down and eat, I don't want it to be, I don't want this to be like this. No. It's about, what do I want to eat? Especially because I'm away from home, so there's certain things that you miss, right? And you also want to capture that feeling. I do want people to capture the feeling that I get when I eat this. So it's like, I think our beef carpaccio, I love just like, it's not like a typical beef carpaccio. It's a little bit more meaty, because that's my personal thing. I'm a carnivore, right? So it's like, I do like that thing where like there's a bit more bite. You can really taste the meat. And then obviously a little bit too much Parmesan, because I love cheese. The wild rocket. I don't use the store-bought rocket, not because you know, you buy the store-bought rocket for consistency, right? But I do like that unpredictability of our wild rocket, because it's got that punch. So like, I feel like if you're making a menu, trying to transmit those emotions that you feel when you eat is key. I think that's like the main thing.
I agree with that. I think I just thought about some stories, and when I'm listening to chefs who specialize in something, it's like an obsession.
Yeah.
You have to be, either you're in, like you said, you love what you're creating, or you're obsessed with a certain process of what you're creating. Because to say you're going to sit in that kitchen or in your space and do this thing again and again and again and again, and each time you do it, you are so anal about it being this certain quality. You're not just going to let it out at any, it's good enough.
Yeah.
No, this is literally, it feels like a extension of who you are.
Yeah.
So when I see, you see the nonna or the cousin in the kitchen that is literally the whole day they are literally just making the pasta dough, or they're just cutting the pasta shapes, or the sushi restaurants where all they're doing is just folding the and they will make sure that sushi that they're giving is perfect. That comes from an obsession and a love for what you're doing.
It's also respect for what you're doing, right? Because why spend so much time doing something and not do it the best way possible, right? So it's not even about cutting corners. It's just a thing where like you two, like you spent all this time. Do you really want to risk somebody saying this is not nice?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that doesn't, I don't know. Like it's a thing where like I'd rather you didn't enjoy it, but I did it the way I wanted it to be, rather than, it was just bad. So it's like, okay, you didn't enjoy this, fine. But
that's exactly how
did I want the shrimp to be cooked like this? Did I want the rocket to be like this? So it's like a thing where like I can't argue with you because you can't. I think it's important to understand the difference between not doing a good job and personal preference, right? So you as a chef, to not feel bad when you see plates will come back and people have not eaten, do what you know is right? Like, and right is not everybody's right, it's your right.
It's your right.
So it's like, that you wanted your rocket like this. Not everybody likes rocket. Your shrimp, don't go and cook it like you're trying to kill it again, right? So what do? You cook it like in a certain way. If it's under for some people, fair enough, you know what I mean? But at least I know that what I wanted to do, I sharded it, right?
You shared a video with me the other day, which just encapsulated
yes.
There's a difference between being a commodity provider and being a business, like a brand, and a business owner and a chef. Because yes, if I can come in as a customer and make you change all these things about, I like it this way, then you're trying to meet how many different people.
Everybody's.
But that's it, you're just providing a commodity. But when you say, you know what, I've spent time creating something, I know is at least it has to be done well.
Yes, that's
you're doing bad egg.
But then again, if you spend 9 months trying something and you don't get it right, then maybe you should change the job, right? Maybe that's not your work.
Maybe it's not for you.
But you know what? I've spent time crafting this menu, this dish, and everything here is intentionally how it is, and this is how I do it. Yeah. These are my flavors. These are my profiles. These are my textures. There's another restaurant down the road that's not for you. There's a different Italian. There's another pizza restaurant. But this is mine, and that's what is going to build your community and build your.
And it's not easy. Like I'm not telling anybody that it's easy, right? And once again, I keep on saying this. Many times when I speak, I do realize that I come from extreme privilege because I'm one of the few people that my craft really goes with my narrative, and I think that's something I realized recently in my life, right? So the whole Italian thing comes from the fact that I lived an Italian life, and so even when I go to Italy, I lived a very privileged Italian life. So when people are watching my Instagram, it's like, okay, I can see it and everything. But I'm saying, even for like the young chefs and everything, just stick to your craft, man. Nobody can fault you if you do what you're doing well, right? If you cook the meat well, nobody can say anything. Now the truth is, I'll tell chefs a lot of times, take your time. Like me, every time I travel, I learn every single time. Question everything you're doing, but not question it in a way where it's like you question everything per se, like, okay, this is not good. Always look for like little points that can be more experiential, so that whenever you go and eat somewhere, you're open-minded, right? So it's like my pasta recipe has changed about 8 times in 10 years.
Okay.
Why? Because every time I've gone somewhere else, I've met something where I'm like, you know what, actually, this is better. I like the feel of this. Now, better does not necessarily mean it is better per se. Better might be a personal thing. So it might be something where it's like, to me, I like this feel more, and this is the direction that I want to go with this. Like I have an obsession with gnocchi. My gnocchi recipe, or me trying to get gnocchi right, was like a 2-month process. Everybody that ate the gnocchi before, like, oh, this is good. I'm like, no, there's a specific place I ate gnocchi in Italy where it tasted like air. And I will do everything for it to be like that. Well, when some people eat it, they're like, oh, it's too soft. That's not the point. The point is, this is what I wanted. And for me to have achieved that, that's what I'm happy with. Like, this is the experience I wanted. Because when you eat it with the sauce, I don't want the gnocchi to be the protagonist. I want something where you get like a bite, it disappears, the tomato. The client might not necessarily understand the experience you're trying to provide. But I think a lot of being a chef also, start looking also at self-gratification and just accomplishments, like small victories, right? So like when I make pizza, nobody has tasted it, but I see that my fermentation was perfect and my gluten structure was perfect. For me, that's my week. Like there's nothing you can say to me, or like if you like, don't come. Like I'm just like, well, you see, I got that right.
Yeah,
and that for me is wonderful.
I wanted to just kind of expand on what you said, and I think it's important for those who, you know, Ben is Italian and he lived in Italy. That's his story, and the focus should not be on that. The focus should be on what he's saying and the actual meat of the information he's giving out. And I think for anyone who is in Nigeria, we can still apply that to if it's traveling within your community and Nigeria, and seeing, okay, this is how I made okra in my town. Going somewhere and seeing how someone else made it from somewhere else, and asking questions. Well, what was changed here? What is it that I love about this texture? For example, some okra is crunchier, and maybe I love that crunchy texture, and that's what I'm going to take into my cooking.
Yes.
So it can be it's that application of inquisitiveness and curiosity, and asking those questions and seeing how an ingredient can be taken from one person's point of view to another person's point of view, but then finding what it is that makes you fall in love with that ingredient, that you can then tell your own personal stories. I just wanted to that.
I think the key thing is to understand that, because there's an obsession with creating a vibe, and what I tell my staff all the time is that a vibe is the illusion of an experience, like it's fleeting. So what you want to do is that all of you have experiences to offer, because your household is unique. Your mother, your grandmother, the way they wanted their thing can be something that you can monetize or capitalize, right? So it's like, this is okay, my okra, like, so for example, my mom makes okra with a mix of palm oil, and then she puts like leaves inside, but she puts them at the end when they're slightly crunchy, slightly bitter. So like every time you take like a bite, there's like these sweet prawns and then like this slightly bitter leaf. Delicious. The complexity in that flavor for me is something else, and the palm oil is put in at the end. So like, and it's very good quality palm oil. So like, there's so much flavors going on. In my opinion, that's why I eat at home. Well, why can't you as a chef, right, come and present that in a way where it's like, it's an authentic experience.
Exactly.
And I think that's another thing that we do here, where like you look at the small things and it's like you look down on them. But I'm like, for me, I feel like the best thing that hits home more is the familiar difference, something you're familiar with but presented slightly differently. That for me is what really hits personally, because like there's a personal attachment to that, right? Like the Italian food I'm doing here, to be very honest, a lot of people are like, okay, what is it? How is it that he's done it like this? A lot of them is just literally an ode to my grandmother, an ode to my aunt. Like the way I make my tomato sauce is the way my step aunt used to make it for me. And that's the same way I make it, and because that's the way she made it for me, that's the way I know. So here, guys, try this. It's not everybody that'll like it too, but you know, I feel like when a chef cooks that way, you can taste it. Like, you can just taste it, because it's not learning. Cooking something that you've learned is different from cooking something that comes like personally. Because like when you cook personally, it's not, you go by memory, you go by emotions, you go like so it's like you're not measuring how much salt. You don't need to. You know when it's right. Your brain will tell you, this is Auntie's one. And I think like when you transmit that emotion, now what happens is that when you now speak about it, you're not selling anymore. It's now an authentic experience. It's an expression, and people buy into that, especially, and that's why going back into like the niche restaurants, I think that's what it is, like that thing where the chef is doing something that's very personal. They're inviting you into their personal space. Come and taste my world. Come and experience what it is that I love. And I think for what Lagos is now, because a lot of bigger restaurants, and this is not me insulting anyone, please, there's a loss of there's not enough soul or spirit. Like there's no soul in a lot of things that we're doing. It's just like just here, have this. And I'm not saying that doesn't.
It's hard to have soul when the kitchen's the afterthought.
Well, to be very honest, yes, it is. Yes. It is very difficult, but the truth is, it's a thing where we are young in our culinary. In our culinary,
it's in its infancy.
It's in its infancy, and so the thing is that when you're trying to monetize the culinary experience, right, you do have to go for the low-hanging fruits. If I, like me now, sometimes I joke and say, "Man, maybe I'll die a poor man, right?" Because I decided to open a 25-seater restaurant and I'm making gnocchi from scratch and I'm sweating. Like even now as we talk, I'm going to go and eat fish stew in my house. But these are the things that, in my opinion, is what makes food, right? But I do also realize I grew up in a culture where my friends and I would get into a car and drive 2 hours to go and eat gnocchi somewhere or go and eat ravioli somewhere. How many people would do something like that? Like when I went to the East, the way they were looking at me in my father's village was like I was mad, right? Because it's like when they gave me palm oil, I was like, oh my God, like Jesus Christ, this palm oil, oh my God. They gave me beans, oh my God. Like everything for me just tasted like, like, yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Like it was just great. Like I'm sorry, like I don't know why. See, the most beautiful thing about being a chef, right, is that every day you get to interact with things that you love. While somebody is there balancing books, you're eating pounded yam. Like you're eating fresh fish. So like going to the market and seeing fish that they just brought out, I can already imagine how that's going to taste, right?
Yeah.
And then, or like fresh crabs, like when they open it, like that moment when they pop the fresh crabs open and you can smell it, that like smell of the sea. Ah, God. Or like fresh chilies when they've just roasted it. Food is just beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a thing where like we need to start with the younger chefs, start moving away from being a celebrity chef, because there are only so many of you that can be on TV. Like, it's not all of you, right? Like GTB only lasts 3 days, guys. Like it doesn't last 3 weeks, you know. So it's a thing where like if all of you think you're gonna get on that stage and be doing masterclass, it's gonna be a lot of disappointment in your life. So get used to it. So no, but it's true. So it's a thing where like so the thing is that if your measure is public acknowledgement and public praise, the truth is it's also difficult for you to get that if you have not truly invested in your craft. Because you will fall. At some point you'll fall.
And it's in all angles. I just think as a community, like we say this, you know, as Nigerians, we truly do love food.
We do.
Love to express ourselves through food and sharing our dishes with our friends and family. You come to our house, how can you not eat? So sometimes I just feel like where does that gap now come in the entrepreneurial side, where we're not linking that love and obsession and expression we're talking about, and it's now overly monetized? Is it are the wrong people not being? I don't know if I'm expressing myself
it's
right.
No, perfectly. Like it's our examples, right? It's the example of what we have in terms of food businesses. So the thing is that we're highly influenced by British and American fast food. So our idea of a food business is either Mama Put or the people that traveled. They don't go to a lot of exclusive restaurants. It's a very small niche. So a lot of people are going on Google, or going on Instagram. The mom and pop restaurant that I go to in the middle of Tuscany is not going to be on Instagram. What's going to be on Instagram? Quarter to balance, right? So when you now look at like, okay, food, you now realize, okay, you package, send out, and I'm like, that's not my idea of food, right? But here, that's the best thing to understand. That's also the easiest thing to manage. I can say that my philosophy towards opening a restaurant has not been easy at all. Consistency, quality control. Like for example, I had to take a 2-week break or 3-week break because I can't leave my staff to even check my shellfish, because if one is wrong, people fall sick. It's happened in the past though, where one of my staff made a mistake or something, and it's that whole thing of you have to constantly be there. But the way I now looked at it is I'm like, you know what, we're going to invest in the people around you so that they start understanding that there is another way and another view. And I must say that the people that you now invest in that way enjoy it. But it's going to take time. We have to completely change what the end goal of being a chef is. So it's not being a celebrity chef. It is not owning 5 eateries. No.
Not trying to be a fine dining.
It's not all of that. It is, you know, trying to provide the best thing possible, trying to make clients happy, also trying to make yourself happy. I think so many people get into being a chef as a business rather than following a culinary passion that you have. Because I'm like, first things first, it's like, okay, you're cooking, but you're not tasting anything you're cooking. How? In a country where our ingredients are so inconsistent, you're not tasting?
Yeah.
How does that work? Because 2 tomatoes here are the same, Really?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
So there are the entire approach, even when you look at like the culinary schools, they teach more about the business part. They teach more about the parts of like, I've had issues with a lot of my interns, right? Because they come in, they're like, he's not teaching us the structure. And one of them, they're like, oh, you're not teaching us how to partition the fridge. And I'm like, partition the fridge? Okay, you don't even know what is rotten. How are you going to organize a fridge if you don't know what rotten and good is?
Yeah.
So this thing where you went to culinary school where they taught you knife skills, but you don't know a good tomato. So I'll give you a rotten tomato to cut, and that's what you're going to do. So I think there has to be complete I'm being serious.
I know you are. I know you
like,
are.
there has to be a complete re-education system in terms of like what our priorities are. Straight from farming. If we do not start putting in some standards already from when we're cultivating our ingredients, like as a chef, for me it's mandatory that you know how to select fresh fish.
Yeah.
How to select good cuts of meat, how to look at fat content, you know. Don't come and start talking to me about, oh no, the ratio of the chili or the ratio. Guy, what the fuck are you talking about ratio? Like you don't even know what you put inside the pan.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
The
So,
ratio is least of your worries.
like,
Yeah.
that's not, or like
Yeah.
you come and showing me that you know how to make all the perfect cuts, your julienne is perfect. Yes, but I just gave you bamboo to cut and you thought it was an onion. So it's that thing when like when you're now speaking to these people and like you can tell that they know what sounds good, but they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We need to go back to why are you doing this? Because when you ask people like, okay, you make me a menu. Why this menu? Oh, my creativity, and that's the beautiful thing that Lagos chefs like to use. I am a creative. Okay, you waking up in the middle of the night and hearing your ancestors talk to you is not creativity, right? Creativity stems from a base. So the way I like to describe creativity is, you know your box so well, not thinking out of the box. Think within your box, you know it so well that you can flip it and work from another spectrum. I try to explain to one of my people that like it's like cured meat and shellfish don't taste the same but provide the same experience.
Yeah.
So many times when you're doing things with cured meat or cured pork to be exact, you can actually use shellfish, especially prawns, because it provides the same experience. It does the same thing to food. How do you know this? Spectrum. Food works on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So your creativity is drawn from that. Okay, I look at the texture of this, the flavor of that, the smell of this, and I can now do this. Instead, somebody just wake up and say, oh, you know what, yam has starch. Let me come and make this, and they're like, okay. like come and make a yam risotto. Relax. That's not how it works. Like, chill. You know, and I think, well, I know, I'm being wicked, but the truth is, that's unfortunately the way we approach food right now.
Yeah. No.
And it needs to, and it's a thing where it's like, guys, relax, take time, learn. Look at other cultures. In fact, not even other cultures. Look at your culture. All your food was made with intention. There's nothing that was cooked without any intention because the people that came before you were not stupid.
They were
okay?
not. Yeah.
So start using what your grandmother did, what your grandmother's grandmother did. Because when I went to the East and they made me banga with these creamy beans and native rice, I will tell you the truth, if they represented that in a gourmet restaurant, there's no amount of money I would not have paid for that. Because the banga, the way just the creaminess of the beans killed the excess oil, and then the rice, oh my God, the rice itself had so much flavor. The meat was I was just like, this is the culinary experience. But because it's rice, beans, and stew, you look at it like it's nothing. Me personally, I'm an Italian chef, so when I go to these places, I don't look down on anything because I'm not looking at the dish. I'm looking at the elements. I'm looking at what is provided to me, like the experience that I've gotten from it. How was it? The oil, how fresh was this oil? How fresh was the meat? The beans, what was the texture? How did they cook it? Did they get it right? The rice, how was it? Like, these are the things that I'm looking at. But here, it's rice and stew with beans. It's okay now. So, that's it.
That's... You know what? I feel like this conversation kind of took on a life of its own.
Sorry, guys.
No, not even in a complaining way. Just in a... Sometimes you plan for what you think the conversation is going to be, and it takes a life of its own. And I think those are my favorite kind of conversations on there, because you can't dictate what's in someone's mind or the knowledge they have to share.
Yeah, and I think, like we mentioned, we wanted to really just discuss niche restaurants.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
And no. Now I'm like, it's actually wouldn't have been possible without first having this
conversation.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like, it's like, a niche restaurant, for us to get to niche restaurants, right? Because I think in Nigeria, unfortunately, what has happened with many things in Nigeria is that we're a young country, right? And I think we've skipped so many steps. So even our culinary, like, as chefs here, you come like our training and everything, in those other countries, like 200-300 years worth of development.
Yeah.
Here's like 10 years. To 15, 20 years, you know what I mean? How can you possibly understand all the nuances that are involved, right? So someone like me that grew up in that country, I think it's my job to try and figure out ways to get people to understand as much as possible that you need to respect the time that is required to be able to get to a certain place. It takes time. Like, I've been doing this, like, I did this in Italy before I came here, so I can say that I've been doing this for 16 years, right? And I can still say, like, I'm not embarrassed to say it. I learn every day. I'm not a master at anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing where, like, I learn. I'm open-minded. Like, I'm open-minded to anybody. Like, for me, I think the woman that has been cooking for 40 years in the village has a lot to teach me.
And that's what I wanted to say, because you've said it's 10, 20 years, which I do agree with, but I do think we have ignored the backing of time and ancestry,
historical,
history, and our descendants' knowledge, because what we tried to do in the restaurant industry was pick up a industry from another country and put it here.
Put it here.
Going to be functional.
We've not focused on our own and expanded that.
Looking back and finding the right people who are inquisitive and curious and passionate about our culture to say, this is what we have, this is our ingredients, this is our cuisine, these are our dishes, this is our culture. How do we push that into this world of the restaurant industry?
There has to be more respect towards the local people. I think there's that, because even in foreign cultures, like, terroir, or what the farmers do, they're seen as gods. Like, when I'm in Italy, I go to the local farmer to go and see the fennel that he harvested, or like the potatoes and stuff, and everybody talks about that. It's like, it's so funny how you want to talk about the person that's brought those things together. Well, how about the person that cultivated them, right? Because without him, what you're doing wouldn't be possible.
You don't have anything to...
So it's a thing where, like, they're really, they're really important. Until we start respecting them, we cannot complain about the quality of produce that we get. We just can't, because if you're not respecting the people that are making the produce, and only the people that are using the produce get the credits, then, to be honest, why does he have to do, like, like, even the people that make amala or like whatever, if you're not respecting the auntie that's making it and, like, has all the techniques and makes it fluffy and goes through all of that, well, all it is that you come and glorify the place that's offering it, right? It's not like, I will not be like, you're in the wrong place. I think where we place our gratitude and our focus is completely wrong. We need to really start appreciating the small things, the craftsmanship that's involved, the quality of ingredients. Now, as I said, it's a very Italian approach to things, very, very Italian. It's only recently I'm realizing it. But I think that for any space that's trying to create like a niche restaurant vibe, unfortunately, you need that. Like, there needs to be, it's the whole community. Yeah. Right? It's not just the restaurant. It is what's behind the restaurant. It is what's being supplied to the restaurant. So where do you get your fish? Like, when I come out and I'm like, oh, I bought my oboko and they bring it for me from this place. Many people, it flies over their head, but no, that's a point of pride for me, because it means that my fish is fresh. Yeah. My fish is fresh, and I'm getting it from this place because this is the place that has this quality fish. My tomatoes, I get them from here. My herbs, I get them from there. All these things are key, So that's it, guys. Sorry if I'm rambling.
No, not a ramble in sight. I was going to say that I definitely feel like it's worth a part 2 conversation, so it might be worth saying, like, before you even focus on niching down, I think. Cool. So, right, so this conversation has been insightful, even for me, as someone that, and I love that you said that you love learning and you're always learning.
You have to.
When I sit down and I have conversations with people that have been doing this longer or doing it differently, there's always something to learn from it. You've definitely changed my perspective on how I view ingredient-led cooking. And what I would say is, when we planned this out, the conversation was definitely meant to be niching down, but I think that you've touched on something more important, which is what should be your focus before you even decide on a niche, which is so important, and what you should do.
A culinary direction and a culinary philosophy is key. If you want everybody to, like, follow in a certain way. What?
I want that on a t-shirt. There's so many
Well, you know,
things
me and you have these conversations all the time.
It's the words you're using.
Yes, because you know what I was listening to, I was thinking this is such a philosophical way of looking at the culinary arts.
Benedict.
And
no, it has to be a
I think
philosophy. Yeah, it has to be, because it's you have to truly believe in what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because the truth is, when I came to Lagos and I told everybody, I'm going to do like Italian food using locally sourced ingredients, and I told people that, they're like, oh, you're mad. What? And then when people started looking at me use like local fillet to make steak, I remember the first time when you had, you're like, this is local. It became an obsession, because I'm like, no, I have to make this work. Like, I'm not going to make it work in the way that people say, like, I'm not going to discard what we have and be like, our meat is not good for. No. What is our meat good for?
Yeah.
What are the cuts good for? Respect the ingredients. God did not give ingredients to everybody and decide that this one will have this and you won't have anything. Yeah. Because if not, we wouldn't be here. Everybody would die, right? There was nothing to eat. So I think as a chef, you're being mentally lazy if you just decide that nothing works, right? You're being mentally lazy, and you know to know your work. You know what I mean? But the truth is, that's it. I think if you really care about what you're doing and you want this to work and you really love what you do, you have the duty to really like stay at it. Like, I got, do you know how many disasters I've had in my kitchen? The other day I went and got all these small fish, got excited. Oh my God, it's like anchovies. Nonsense. The thing just burnt on the grill. Nobody on Instagram will ever see that. Out of the 7 that you saw, is that one fine one that I put? But the truth is, it's a process, right? So, you, Shavi, you know how many bad pizzas I made before I got the right one. You know how.
To him. I ate it.
No, they're terrible. So she's somebody that came. You came to one of my tastings, the gnocchi tasting. Yeah. You guys did not have the gnocchi the day before. The day before, I was giving them pebbles. And my staff thought it was nice, and they're like, "this gnocchi," and I'm like, "This is terrible."
You know the irony of that is, I thought that gnocchi was too light. Soft.
Yeah, I know. Many people did, but I knew what I wanted. So it's just that, like, it's a constant journey.
Anyway, what I'm hearing is Ben doesn't speak these Italian words and cook this food to get girls.
Thank you guys.
It's bigger than that.
Yes, it is, right?
You're a social whore. I love it.
Not anymore. Please, I'm looking for wife.
Please, to know what this podcast is for.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. My bad.
So, what we are going to do right now, this conversation has been really insightful. Yeah. I think I do want to round it up just by saying, this is definitely a conversation I feel like we have to have a part 2 of, just because what you've then done is kind of set the foundation for understanding what you need to do before you niche. And the next part of this conversation would be how to niche and how to develop that niche and turn it into a brand and a business and but I think there's so much knowledge and insight in everything you've said over the past however long we've been speaking that it'd be a bit too much for people to digest. So we're definitely doing this as a part 2 for season 3. And we're going to go into the one bite segment now. Okay. Are you familiar with that?
Kind of, yes, to an extent. To an extent. But if you explain it again, I won't.
What's your understanding of it?
Let me not say too much. Let me be honest, I'm not too familiar. I was trying to lie.
There's this guy on TikTok that goes around telling a joke that doesn't make sense, and the person laughs and he's like, "Did you get it?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Explain it."
So you guys just did that too. Oh no, thank you.
Right, so what the one bite segment is basically anything that we've seen going around maybe social media or trending within the industry, or maybe articles and stuff, and just kind of just having a conversation on it and just giving our one bite on our take on the situation
I know this
at
now.
hand.
Sorry, no, now I know. No,
you just needed a refresher.
I got scared.
I
said, let me not answer what I don't know.
All right, Vanessa, you're going to take us through our one bite today?
Yes.
Okay, sure. So, today's one bite, I thought it would be good because we've spoken about, international things and bringing in international cultures into Nigeria. So I was reading this article and Nigerians were basically complaining because there's a few international businesses that have come into Nigeria and excluded Nigerians. Which is fascinating.
Yeah.
So one of the examples given was I know there's always a hunt to find like Asian supermarkets, and some of them are extremely hidden. And someone found one and was basically told that they can't enter, that it's only Asians that can enter into the store. And this happened on Nigerian soil. And it happens throughout in other industries. I've heard it in schools and not accepting Nigerians. I've seen it all. And we've spoken about this thing of how are you coming into our, and we are worshipping these,
white adulation is fucking you man up the ass.
I mean, I think we should match their energy, right? Just match their energy. Oh, you want to be truly independent and just not use us for anything, not allow us in. No problem. No NEPA, no diesel, nothing. You're not allowed to use any of our resources, our people. No, I'm not even getting angry. Like, just be petty, right? So the thing, you want to drive? Oh, you can't use our roads. Oh, you like, you know what I mean? It's like, let's truly see how independent you are, right? So like, just so that they have sense. So the thing where like you start taking away things from them and just be very difficult, then they'll realize that maybe they need you. Like, why are you doing business in the country if you don't want us to be part of it? You know, that's just it.
You see, I hate when wise people speak before me, because not everything I'm gonna say is gonna just sound like smoke. But I want to say the same thing he said. East London. Because what the fuck do you mean? You're on Nigerian soil and you're saying me, daughter of the soil, cannot enter a shop or a school or any kind of establishment in my grandfather's land? That's crazy to me. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. White adulation has you man in a chokehold, and this is what happens when you worship people that don't respect you. This is what happens when you put people that see you as beneath them on a pedestal, because they already in their head think you're beneath them. You have now put them on a pedestal, so you have now, in theory, put them higher than they need to be. So they're looking further down at you, and it's evident, and it shows in the way they operate with us. We could go into many things, even just the way they see our labor and they see our people and they see the things we provide as less than. This attitude permeates more than just, one Chinese shop or one school. It's so sinister in such it's very easy to overlook it because we're here in our little bubbles, but it's an extremely sinister thing that Nigerians are letting coloured, what would we call them? Because I don't want to call them white, because not all of them are white. But people that are not Nigerian and are not African, black Africans, get away with in our land.
Well, also, sorry, let me say this, right? I can't even blame them too much, because I think I don't even want to give them too much attention, because the truth is, how can I get angry with somebody who, if I was in their country, I wouldn't let my kids go to their area? Right?
No.
Wait, hold on. Because you're talking about, for me, it's so ridiculous that the person that they sent to lay tiles in my uncle's house is now saying that my children cannot go to his children's school. Now, what is crazy about that, right, is how you guys have decided to come to a country where you're given an opportunity to be better than what you are in your own host nation. And you now come here with arrogance, almost forgetting the position that you occupy.
That we have saved you from. Because
why are you here?
Because us as Nigerians have given you a new place to thrive in, and then you're discriminating against us in our own space.
But you see, that's the thing. That's why I said that there's no need to fight. You have to remind them of their position. You remind them why you're here. You remind them, as to how much you need us. Because, find out the company that is doing this. Like, what company has this supermarket? Go and tell the 3 guys that are sponsoring everything they're doing that, see, this comes from marginalizing people. Okay, cut your contract. Oh, yeah, no.
But my issue with that is, in as much as that's an idealistic way to deal with it, the people who are in business with them, are in bed with them, they think about themselves. They're not thinking about the
No, of course. But as you guys have made this public knowledge, you know what I mean? Or I think more people, you'd be surprised how many people would back this thing. Because a lot of times, the funny thing about Nigerians is, as long as nobody knows, we'll misbehave. But once everybody knows, we'll kind of have to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's a thing where if you're not going to say that one Nigerian Oga has kept the contract of a Chinese company, that is not
Is
letting
doing
our
this,
people
yeah.
do this. Once name and address comes out of the Oga, trust me, what will happen is that he'll start vexing.
Yeah.
So I think that like it's a thing where, because I've had that issue a lot here, right? Because growing up abroad, and I think a lot of people that grow up abroad have that here, where you come here and somebody that, and this is, I'm not saying that I'm into social hierarchies or whatever. I made a joke about it because the truth is, since in love and war, all is fair, right? So somebody that, to be very honest, for a lot of people that grew up in England, your parents would say, don't go and talk to that kind of person. No. It's now coming here and acting like a god. When I'm like, I could literally look at them and be like, I have your own at home. You know, like that's how people. But that's just facts. That's how it is. So it's like a thing where like I show respect to my plumber. I show respect to my tiler here, my Nigerian tiler. Who is it? Because you're doing the same thing they're doing there here.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Because let's remember, it's not a lot of the people that come into this community are people that are doing that sort of work. Not to disrespect anybody's work, but the truth is that if we're really going to go down that route, who are you? Who are you? What are you doing that is of such importance that I cannot speak to you
in the same space?
In the same space, like what is this? You know, like what are your credentials to merit that sort of like who are you? You know, if you like that's just it.
Vanessa, what's your bites?
Oh, I've enjoyed listening to both of you. I've been silent, really. I would just say we need to look within ourselves and stop thinking that we're not. Stop allowing other people to. Stop having this impression that other people are higher than you. It's just the slave mentality is too much, because the only reason this is happening is because we've allowed it.
Yeah.
And it takes me to this video I saw of a family of Chinese, a group of Chinese individuals that literally took their time to record themselves giving a group of police like their security. It was like 200 naira or 500, like just one note per person, and they all queued there. 15 of them queued there waiting for that one note as the camera was going. I was just like, is there no self-respect for you?
It's inferiority complex.
It's inferiority complex. I'm like, this is why these kind of things can happen in your own country, because you are allowing it. And it's a sad place to be in your own country to allow such things happen, because like you said, we're all minorities. That's the funny part, you know. And it's been a conversation for decades and centuries actually, that this group, you know, we're all minorities, yet when it comes to trying to oppress,
somebody's looking for the next one to oppress in their own way. Ooh, well, give me a second.
But who are we oppressing ourselves?
Ourselves. Like, you know, when you deep it, it's so very tiring.
Anyway,
okay. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys so much
Chef
for having
Benedict. Ben, it's actually been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure was all mine too.
Extremely insightful. Definitely some great takeaways. We're definitely going to have you back here.
Thank you, guys.
See
Thank
you
you.
in season 3.
As always, you can find all our episodes on YouTube and all podcast streaming platforms that you use.
So please make sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think about this episode and all the episodes that we release. You can find us and follow us at onebitepod_ on all social media platforms. I also want to take this time to thank Mile, our venue partners, for giving us this space to talk and chat.
And finally, we would like to thank the Bodega Emporium and Circa Lagos for sponsoring this podcast and supporting our vision.
So we look forward to dishing it out with you this season,
one bite at a time.